Hello YouTube, Captain Mac here, and welcome back to the Life of a Virtual Cargo Pilot, the show where I pretend to know how to fly really large aircraft and you keep letting me do it. Now, I have three treats for you today. Number one, we are flying in the PMDG 747-800 rather than the 400, and you may know that already from the title. And I'm here to tell you, I initially thought it's a 747. It's the 400 model, essentially, with a new skin on it to make it look like an 800, maybe some different engines, something like that. I really kind of, to be honest with you, I thought PMDG was really stretching, asking for $70 for this thing, because I thought it was really just kind of a rework of the 400 model. Well, I was wrong about that. Let me tell you right now, this aircraft is definitely different. The engines are different. The modeling is different. The flight deck, although it looks nearly identical to the 400, which it does in the real world as well, there are a lot of added things to it that are going to make this aircraft a lot of fun, and we're going to spend a lot of time in it because I love the 747, and I'm so glad that the 800 model is still flying as a freighter. And today we're going to be flying this aircraft from Denver all the way up to Anchorage, Alaska. Now, this is just a random flight that I chose from two airports that have sceneries that I know and love. But I'm hoping, and I talked with the guys over at Mac Air, and they're going to work on putting together an Atlas Air cargo tour for me. And it's not just for me, it's for everybody. But I'd like to get this this entire series back on a track of, you know, continuous regular flights. And doing that with one of those tours is a great way to do that. So, with all that in mind, let's talk about treat number two. Not only are we going to be flying a new, beautiful aircraft today, but we're going to be flying this aircraft with FS2 Crew voice version. Now, I've used it before when I flew in the NGX, and it's a lot of fun. In fact, I probably need to get it reinstalled in my NGX. I don't know if I will or not, because it does change the dynamic of the videos and how, not only how I present them, but how they're viewed by you and so on. But I think it's a lot of fun, excuse me, and I think it will add a lot of immersion to this particular series of videos. As such, you're going to see some different formatting items as far as the layout of the video. We won't be popping up checklists, and part of that has to do with this aircraft as well, which you'll see when we hop on the flight deck. But we won't be popping up checklists. In some cases I'll be talking less. I know, hard to imagine, but I will be talking less in some cases, and I'll be communicating with the first officer, and you'll hear those communications and get a feel for everything that the first officer can do for you on this aircraft. All of this stuff is configurable. This is not a video about FS2 Crew, but I just want you guys to know that that's what we're going to be flying with today, and it's really going to change the dynamic of this video. And I, for one, am really looking forward to it. I've done a few flights with it just to practice. It does take some getting used to, but once you get the feel of it, and it's great. And that's going to lead us to treat number three. Now, this one's going to be an extra special something, and I'm going to spend just a few minutes here talking about it. If you want, after I introduce it, you can skip ahead in the video. If I think about it, I'll put chapters down there so you can do that, because what I'm going to talk about now is just a brief overview, and it's this guy right here, Sim Toolkit Pro. Now, again, what we're going to talk about here is really just a very brief overview of this program, but I wanted to introduce it today because I am absolutely falling in love with this thing. First and foremost, it is free, ladies and gentlemen. This does not cost you any money. You're not paying anything. The guy who's putting it together is doing an amazing job on it, and this is sort of your EFB. It's beyond that even. In fact, I think that's what it says on the web page. It says beyond an EFB, but it really is. Couple things I want to touch on real quick, and we'll see a lot of this today, because here's our flight. Let's just dive right in. Here's our flight plan right here, right? So we've got, this is a Lido style flight plan, which is a little different than the layout I'm used to, and I'll get to that in just a minute. You've got charts and maps here. These are your wind charts, your vertical profile chart. You've got a scratch pad where you can put notes that will be saved with your flight plan and with your file, when you file it, when you file the flight is completed and so on. You got information on all your waypoints from your flight plan and so on. Additionally, right here I've got everything I need for Denver, everything I need for Anchorage. Now what's beautiful about this is because I have Active Sky, I link my Active Sky to it, and there's my Active Sky weather running right now. I can refresh this at any time, and this will link directly into this, and it's within the program. See, if I move this, nope, don't do that. I did that before too. Oh, come on. I accidentally selected everything. I don't want to select anything. There we go. Okay, if I move this, so you got to shrink it down to move it, but you can see Active Sky is part of this program. It's built right in. Now you have to have your own Active Sky. It's not included with the program. Don't misunderstand me there. Okay, but you can link your Active Sky to it. So I've got Active Sky running down in the tray so that it uses minimal CPU usage. But when I want to pull it up, I don't have to open it up. I just pull it up right here. Additionally, if you have a Navigraph account, you can link your Navigraph charts to this. Oh, look at that. There's our flight for today, right? And there's some things that I knew about Navigraph before, but I never showed you guys because I just didn't really dig into it as far as the videos go. But you're going to see those today, which are really awesome because we're going to do all of our briefings right from this screen right here. When it's time for briefings, I'm just going to drag it over and we're going to do it right from here, and it's really seamless. I love how seamless it is. On top of that, you've got live maps, and I'm using the 2.0 beta. Now, the only issue that I've had with this program so far, and keep in mind it's still in its early phases. Okay, this is I forget what version this is. I know it says it on here somewhere, but anyway, he's getting ready to release version 6 pretty soon, which is supposed to be just amazing. Like, this thing's already really amazing. Okay, you've got hold on, let me backtrack. I apologize. And again, that's why I said if you want to skip through this, this is really an overview. With the flight planning, I've been an avid PFPX user for flight planning for years, and the reality is you can easily import a PFPX operational flight plan in this if you want to. But you can also link your SimBrief account with this, and I know a lot of you use SimBrief. Now, I have never really used it. I have an account, I created an account, but SimBrief links so seamlessly with this that when I go to the flight planning page, okay, I can just click on latest SimBrief operational flight plan and it'll just load it in. Okay, and then I can make the changes to departures, arrivals, waypoints, all of that stuff. I can do it right on here. Excuse me. And then down here will be a button that says fly now. Right now it says update flight because this assumes I'm wanting to change it, and I'm not going to. Now when I go away from this, it's going to tell me if any information entered will be lost. That's okay because I didn't change anything, so we're still on the same flight plan. I love that. It's seamlessly integrated with it. I haven't had any problems with it. If you go into your profile, here's a couple of flights I've done on it. You can put your own fleet in here, right, and register the aircraft. You got schedule, landing reports, log editor, tools and data. You've even got streaming tools. If you're doing live streaming, you go onto this, you set up all the things that you want to set up, and then when you live stream, you can overlay stuff from this program right onto your live stream. It's absolutely fantastic. I love this program, and we're going to be using it quite a bit. Now, last thing I want to say about this, and then I'm going to get off my soapbox here. I talked with the developer directly for two reasons. One, I wanted to make sure there were no issues of copyright violation in showing this in my videos, because I don't want a copyright claim, and I don't want him to feel like he needs to make a copyright claim. He said absolutely not. He wants this to be shown. He wants people to see this, okay? He wants people to see this. Number two, once he releases the full version, if you will, and I don't know which, when he releases 1.0, I guess, I've already talked with him, and I am going to put together, if he still wants me to, I'm going to put together a absolute full tutorial on this thing, all right? And I'm really looking forward to doing that because this thing is fantastic. So you're going to see a lot of use of this today. Just go onto Google and type in Sim Toolkit Pro. You see it right up here in the top left-hand corner, Sim Toolkit Pro, okay? And trust me, you're not going to regret this. And it takes minimal CPU usage, even with all these programs running, which normally I've got 1, 2. That's 2 programs. I've got my flight plan, that's 3 programs. If you want to have a flight map, that's 4 programs, and on it goes. All of it's in this one thing. It's fantastic. Okay, enough about that. So we spent so much time talking already that a lot of the GSX is already gone, but they haven't all done their loading because not all the cargo doors are open. And the reason not all the cargo doors are open is because we're going to use FS2 Crew to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop up my secondary panel here, and I'm going to go to pilot flying, and I'm going to run the pre-flight events, and I want to hop on the flight deck right away because, let me get this, I keep this over here so you don't have to look at it. But let's hop on the flight deck, and you can see the power on the aircraft is not on. Now, at the 59-minute mark, our first officer is going to power up this aircraft. It's not that I'm incapable of doing it, nor is it that you're incapable of doing it. But what it is that it's a first officer actually interacting with this complex aircraft to help you handle the workload. And that's one of the things I really love about it. I had to shrink a window down there. So I'm going to sit here for just a second. In fact, I'm going to just click it ahead. Let's just do this. Bam. Okay, so right now, and our first officer is a female. We're going to call her, I don't know, we're going to come up with a name for her. But you can see she's powering on the aircraft. All right. And you know what? I'm going to call her Raylyn. I'm going to name her after my daughter. So Raylyn is powering up the aircraft right now, and you can see all of that coming on. So while she's doing all that, instead of us doing it, we can actually take a look at our operational flight plan, because when she's done with that, she's going to go do a walk around. She's going to open cargo doors. She's going to do a ton of stuff for us. So let's look at our flight plan while she's doing that. We're going from Denver to Anchorage. Our departure times aren't going to matter because we're not even close to our departure times. Okay, there's a lot of information on here that I still am trying to figure out a little bit because I'm so used to a different type of flight plan layout using PFPX. But here's our cruise. We'll be at a cruise index of 85. The ground distance is 2,139 nautical miles. Air distance 2,145. And on it goes average winds, all of that stuff. Okay. Here's our planned fuel. I've already loaded the aircraft with fuel. I put it at 145,000 block fuel, which is just a little more than what's listed here, and that's quite all right. You can add, for those of you who know on SimBrief, I could put in extra fuel, but I wasn't sure how much extra I was going to want to put in. So I just waited and then added it directly to the aircraft. But it's got our trip fuel. These are all, a lot of this is information we're going to need when we initialize our FMC, right? So you've got trip fuel, contingency fuel, fuel to your alternate, final reserve fuel 11.6, minimum takeoff fuel extra if you put it in there, takeoff fuel, taxi fuel, the whole shebang. It's all right there, okay? And then you sign your flight plan and you say, yep, I accept this, it's good to go. Let's look at a couple other things real quick. Here's our routing. We're actually scheduled for 17 right, and I think I can change this right on here. Now, changing it on here isn't going to change anything in the charts or anything like that. I'm just changing it for my own benefit. But we are taking the DDIRTH 1, at least as of right now, unless the winds have a vicious change on us. This one I had to look at it a few times before I figured out. Operational impacts. If I adjust the weight by 1,000 pounds, the trip will require, P means plus, an additional 190 pounds of fuel, but it won't alter the time any. If I lower the weight by 1,000 pounds, and this is, I believe, per 1,000 pounds, then the trip will be minus 191 pounds of fuel, but it won't change the time any. Same thing with flight level changes. If I go up 1,000 feet, it adds 460 pounds of fuel to the trip, but it subtracts 3 minutes off the flight time, and so on. So that's what this operational impacts is. Here's our estimated times. We're not anywhere near those. I changed the sim time. I actually made this flight plan yesterday, started flying it, but I decided I really wanted to go different with the way I was recording it, so we're redoing it. We've got our cargo payload, 0 fuel weight, weight on our fuel, takeoff weight, and stab trim's not in there. That'll be in the FMC. And then on it goes, and there's tons and tons of information here. You got information on all your waypoints, right? And so this is a typical flight plan for those of you who don't know, and we don't normally go over all of this, but all this information is right here at your fingertips in this Sim Toolkit Pro. Keep in mind, it's free. I'm not getting paid anything to talk about this program or anything like that. It's free, guys. So go check it out. If nothing else, if you end up not liking it, you delete the program and you lost nothing. Okay. Wind information, always crucial. More of our this is flight plan, airport weather list, all of this stuff. It's all right here. Fantastic stuff. Okay. What are we worried about right now? Our fuel's already been loaded and our cargo's already been loaded. If we look over here, here's our anticipated weights at Denver. Radio, all the radio frequencies for Denver. I love this. Okay, the METAR for Denver, or the terminal area forecast for Denver. All of those are right here, and you got all the same things for Anchorage over here. Now, what do we want to take a look at? Nothing else right now. We are going to be looking at our charts in a few minutes. That's what I wanted to show you. Shrink that back down. Now, the one issue I've had with this is sometimes when I switch to the map while there's other stuff going on, it freezes up. If it does, don't sweat it, because you can shut it down and restart it. It saves the point you're at on your flight plan. So if your flight's still going, okay, and this thing freezes up when you shut it down, it automatically saved it. So you just restart your flight, and I don't mean restart the actual flight, I mean restart the flight plan on here. It'll give you that option as soon as you start it up, and it'll just pick up where you left off. Okay, but it looks like it's going to load the map with no issue. So here's our route here. I'll zoom out just a little bit. You can see weather shows up on this map. These are all other people that are flying on here right now, and you just highlight them. It shows who they are, where they're going, where they're at right now, all of that good stuff. It's absolutely wonderful, right? Okay. There we go. Oh, I've got it centered. So turn the follow me off, and that'll let me switch it here. So you've got our departure, and then here's our route going up here. There's obviously some weather right there, not too bad. And then you've got our arrival. That's why it looks so cluttered right now, because I'm zoomed way out. But there's our arrival, and then into Anchorage. So that's going to be our overall route for today. We're not doing a major route brief right now. We'll talk more about what that departure looks like and what that arrival looks like at the appropriate times. Go back here to controls, click on follow me, and it'll follow our aircraft through the flight. Now you can change the color of your flight plan line, all kinds of stuff, and when we get to do a tutorial, I'm going to show you guys all of that. Let's go back to the flight summary, and let's move this out of the way here. Oh, look at that, the nose cone is opening on the aircraft. We didn't do that. Who did that? Oh yeah, it's the first officer. That's fantastic. I love it. Where are we at right now? We're at 54 minutes, right? So she's opening the rest of the cargo doors, including the nose door, which is going to allow GSX to finish doing what it was doing, right? In another minute, she'll open the aft cargo doors, the bulk cargo doors, and then she's going to start her walk around at the 50-minute mark, and she'll do an external walk around on the aircraft. Now, one of these things, if you're not used to FS2 Crew, if you want to speed it up, you just right-click on this down arrow, and it's going to speed it up 1 minute at a time until you get to where you want to be. So you don't have to wait for all of this. And I think, I didn't really look, but I think you can configure those times a little bit so that they're a little faster as well. While we're waiting on her, I do want to do a couple things. So we have a job to do too. We've taken a look at our flight plan, right? So now what we need to do, and I'm just double checking my checklist here, the pre-flight procedure when she gets back is really when we're supposed to start this, but there's nothing that says we can't do it right now. First thing I want to do is I'm going to jump back here, and this is, well, it's not even going to let me yet. So let's go in our FMC. Oh, I'll tell you what we need to do. We need to enter the IRS position. She's already done what needs to be done to set up the alignment. So we need to go to position initialization, put in our reference airport. I forget to do that still. All right, and then we'll go to next page. We'll grab this one right here, and then we'll put it in there, and that takes care of position initialization. Now, route. I do have a company route saved. I've shown you guys many times how to set up your routes inside a Boeing style FMC/CDU. So I'm not worried about that right here. We're going Denver to PANC. That's the one we want. Okay, so let's select, and there we go, and then activate, execute. Now check this out. For some reason, well, actually it should all be in there, and it's not for some reason. So I guess we're going to be putting it in anyway. So much for that. Now I did change, so I switched screens just now, and I found the settings so that the sound stays on, because I hate when the sound just goes away every time I switch screens. It's pretty obnoxious. So I need to find, there's my routing right there. Okay. Our flight number is going to be, you guessed it, 2336. All right. And then runway as of right now is 17 right. Where you at? There you go. And just putting those in there, what that does, I'll activate that, execute. Now when I go to my departure arrival, okay, departing Denver, 17 right is already highlighted, see, which just makes it a little easier. Not that you can't highlight it yourself. DDIRTH 1, no transition, so I'm good with that. And go back to our route, and then you go to page 2 and you can see there it is. DDIRTH 1 is in there, and it's out to DDIRTH, whatever that is, and then from there it's direct to boy. Now there is a point later on technically in the flow of things where I can and or should be setting all this up. I'm just kind of jumping ahead a little bit. Okay, she's off to walk around right now. Alright, and I'm just throwing the flight plan in. Actually, I'm going to stop there for the moment, and I'll tell you why. The only reason I wanted to get the departure and arrival in there is because I wanted to show you this bad boy. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, this sucker's got its own EFB. Now, I talked about Sim Toolkit Pro, and it's basically a really high-speed EFB going on over here. It has things that this one doesn't. It doesn't mean that you have to use Sim Toolkit Pro. You could use this one if this was the only aircraft you're going to fly. Nice thing about Sim Toolkit Pro is it's available for any aircraft. But there are some great features of this EFB, and I want to show them to you real quick. So first of all, it's initialize flight. There we go. And then we want to go to our terminal charts. Come on. And it's already got our route in there, Denver to Anchorage, right? So I'm just going to stick with that. I'm not going to put in alternates. You can put in your alternates and stuff. I'm not worried about it. Just go complete, and now here's our charts, right? But the only chart I have right now is my Denver ground chart. Well, that doesn't do me any good. I need my departure chart. If I go edit clip, while highlighted on Denver, here's the departures. Click on that, all right? And then we're looking for the DDIRTH 1. It's not on this page. Go page down. There it is, DDIRTH 1. Highlight it, puts a little checkbox in there, and then go complete, and I'm done. That's it. And I can grab any charts from Denver. Now, this is linked to my Navigraph account. I want to say that again. This is linked to my Navigraph account. I had to log in. If you don't have a Navigraph account, you cannot pull up all those charts. One more time, just so that nobody misunderstands. If you do not have a Navigraph account, you cannot pull up all those charts. Now, there's another chart company out there, I forget what it's called, that supposedly they're going to make it so you can link that one as well. But I use Navigraph. My Navigraph account, I logged into it through this program so that I can get those charts. Okay, so don't go thinking, wait a minute, how come I'm not getting all those charts? Well, do you have a Navigraph account? If not, then you're SOL. All right, PANC. There's our airport ground chart. Edit clip. And we need our arrival, which we're scheduled for the Peters 3 arrival. So we'll highlight that one, okay? And then we don't know what approach we're going to use yet. But when we're ready for an approach, we'll come back in here, we'll grab our approach chart, and we'll put it in there. But for now, we're complete. So now those are available to me, and I can do the same for up to 4 alternate airports. So if I go to Denver and I click on this, you can click on the screen, it's a touch screen, or you can click on the line select key. Alright, there's my airport ground chart. This right here is awesome, but the reason I like Sim Toolkit Pro better is because you can't hardly see this, number one, and number two, when I'm up here, even with track IR on, I'm not seeing really clearly down there. Now, there is the option to pop it up here, so it's still very, very useful. You can zoom the chart in, you can move it around, you can do all of that. I'm not saying that this thing's junk or anything like that. I'm just saying that I really like Sim Toolkit Pro even better. Now, I have found that the nighttime mode works best as far as viewing it goes. And of course, I've got chase planes, so I can just zoom in and show you stuff on here, no problem. Alright? But I'm going to do everything from Sim Toolkit Pro, even though I've got all of this loaded in here. I really just love that program. But here you can see how that works. So if you don't want to use Sim Toolkit Pro, or you just want to feel like you're being a little more, maybe it feels more realistic doing it this way, then by all means, go ahead and use this sucker. What else? There's a few other things you can do with this. I haven't dug real deep into it. But we know how to get our charts, and then you can also put documents in here. So you should be able, as far as I can tell, to put your flight plan in here. But I know for a fact that if you're going to do that, it's going to have to be a PDF. And the reason I know that is because I put a text version of the flight plan in here and it's not showing up. Okay, and you can go through the tutorial on this. If you guys want, I can do a full flight tutorial on the 747-8. I've already got one on the 400. Maybe you want one on the 800. If you want a full flight tutorial on this aircraft, I'm going to need to get at least 30 people saying yeah, because a full flight tutorial, that takes me about 10 hours to make. I don't mind making it. I love doing it. But I'm not going to waste those 10 hours if nobody's interested in it. But if you are, then I'll do a full flight tutorial and we'll dig really deep into this EFB and get it all. You'll see every detail of it. Sound good? So you guys let me know. If I get at least 30 people down there saying, yep, we want a full flight tutorial on this, then we will do a full flight tutorial on this, and I'll do it soon too. All right. Enough about that. She's out on her walk around right now, and then when she comes back, she's going to start the pre-flight procedure, and I'm going to do the captain's pre-flight procedure. And just to give you an idea here, I'm not popping up a checklist on this, but there are about 50 or 60 different things she's going to do on her pre-flight procedure, and then we've got like 12. So the first officer and FS2 crew really will do a lot of work for you, and you can alter that. You can change that in the settings so that they don't do as much. You know, if you want to do more of the pre-flight or something like that. So it's just fantastic. So I really love this FS2 crew, and I'm going to enjoy this. So I'm going to break away for a few minutes. It'll be a few seconds for you, and then when we come back, we'll jump into our pre-flight procedure. Alrighty folks, Raylan will be back on the flight deck here in just a minute, and then we will get started on all of our pre-flight stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and jump to that.
I'm back from the walk around, no problem.
Fantastic. Now we'll jump one more minute, and she's not going to say anything, she's just going to start her pre-flight procedure. So right now she's going through all her pre-flight stuff. All of those, like I said, there's tons of stuff on there. I didn't even count them. But for us, we need to set up the CDU. So we did start that already. We want to finish that now. So we went out to Boyd. Next is HLN. So we'll throw that in there. Okay, so this is one of those things, right? So HLN, it's asking me which VOR do I actually want. Okay, well, just so you guys can see, if I go over here, I can just go to waypoints, right? HLN is 4660 111.95, right? Well, 4636 111, so it's pretty close, right? So that's the one we're going to take. Got to click this side. There we go. So now we've got HLN in there, and I can set up my waypoints from that same page. I can just go right down the list, but I went back to my operational flight plan over there. So HLN, and then next after that is Dorsey, D-O-R-S-E. There we go, and then from Dorsey it's north 52. Okay, this is one of those like when we were crossing the Atlantic. West 120. So it's backwards. So on the flight plan it says 52N 120W, but if I remember correctly, we got to put it in this way. I remembered correctly. So when your operational flight plan shows you this 52N 120W or 55N 127W, you have to put N55W 127. All right, so that's our next one, N55. N, you see that change right there? That's Raylan doing that. N55 W127. That's our next waypoint. Bam, just like that. And then from there we're direct to Ribbit, R-I-B-I-T. I wonder if that has anything to do with a frog. Ribbit. ACTEX, A-K-T-E-X. You hear she's testing her oxygen over there. And when you do all of that, then you got to test her oxygen too to do it properly, right? But you didn't have to in this case. Okay, moving on. North 59. Make sure I didn't read that backwards.
Okay,
North
I'm finished
59.
my scan.
Okay, so she's done with all her pre-flight stuff. She'll just sit there and wait on us. North 59, West 140. So I need to pick up the pace here. West 140. All right, and then it's direct to JOH. There's the J, JOH. Next page. and then we'll be on our arrival from there, right? So I'm not going to select our arrival yet. I'm going to activate what we've done. All right. If I go to departure arrival index and go arrivals, you'll see that the Peters 3 is for runway 15, but we may not fly into runway 15, right? So we're not putting it in yet. So let's go to performance initialization. For zero fuel weight, I've got it set up so that you just need to confirm it. Our reserves are going to be 10,000. They'll technically be a little higher than that. Our initial cruise altitude is flight level 340. We are quite heavy, and we're going to struggle to get there, I can promise you. Cost index is going to be 85. There we go. And then go to our thrust limit page. We're going to do a normal takeoff with a normal climb, and we're going to need every bit of it. All right. Takeoff page. Flaps are going to be flaps 20. We are very heavy. And center of gravity, we're going to confirm that, and then we're going to confirm our V speeds. There we go. And let's look at what else we got to do here real quick. And I need, like I said, I need to pick up the pace. So the IFAS control panel needs to be set. So minimums reference, we're going to put that, put that on radio. We're going to put it at 200. And I know you guys can't really see that. I could zoom in, but it's right here. So, and I'm going to set it to 200. Trust me. 200. There we go. Fantastic. What else? MCP needs to be set, so flight director switches need to come on. Hers is already on. Our airspeed needs to be set to V2 plus 5, right? So 166 plus 5 is 171. You like how I did that math really quick in my head? I had to think about it earlier. LNAV and VNAV can be armed. Heading needs to be set to runway heading, and I'm going to drag this over again. Like I said, I'm going to do this a lot in this video. This is where, coming in here, go to Navigraph, just click on my airport chart. We're taking 17 right, this one right here. If I zoom in, look at that, it's 173 degrees. Easy days, right? So let's set that to 173, which is basically behind us. There we go, 173. What else we need to do on here? Auto throttle is already armed. Indicated airspeed is set. Takeoff weight is taken care of. Autopilot disengage bar is up. Oxygen, we need to test it. Click on this guy right here. There we go. Oxygen's good. Let's see. Primary flight display. Verify modes. Check no flags. We're good there for now. I do want to show you something on this real quick. Click airport so that it highlights your airports. See right here you've got airport. Now watch this. I love this. You have to have a flight plan in there, but look at that. I can get taxiways all the way down too. Goes all the way down to 0.12. Right? So if I pop that up for you, you can see we're at parking space 5. Alright? And so I can change that a little bit. I can zoom it out a little if I want so that I can see, but there's taxiway Sierra Charlie, and you're going to see that in our taxi brief. So that's really awesome about this, and that works with any airport. You just have to go through the EFB to update it. And again, if you guys want a full flight tutorial, you'll see how to do that. So really like that feature. Alright, moving on. Speed brake lever needs to be down, which it is. Flap lever is set at 0, which it is. Parking brake is set. Fuel control switches are all in cutoff. Stabilizer trim, I was going to say stabilator, that's the MD-11, it's called a stabilator. Stabilizer trim switches, these two here, those are neutral audio control panel. We're not using that right now, but that is set. Alright, so if we were flying passengers at the 30-minute mark, the flight attendant would have asked us if we want her to board passengers, and we could have told her, yeah, go for it. All right. At the 15-minute mark, we run the pre-flight checklist. We're at the 28-minute mark right now, and because I'm still getting a feel for this, what I'm going to do is pause the video for just a sec, make sure I didn't miss anything, then we'll come back on and fast forward to starting that pre-flight checklist. All right. Alrighty, so I fast forwarded to the 17-minute mark, and we can start now, but I just wanted a second to tell you guys, so when you're looking at your checklist for your FS2 crew, there are things written in red. Those are things that you have, that's your response, and you have to say certain things a certain way so that it triggers the next part of the program. And if you get stuck, you can always say set and checked, and that'll move your first officer on to the next portion. Alright, so let's go ahead and kick this thing off. Pre-flight checklist, please.
Pre-flight checklist. Oxygen.
Tested 100%.
Tested 100%. Flight instruments.
Heading 351. Altimeter 3013.
Heading 351. Altimeter 3013. Parking brake.
Set.
Fuel control switches.
Cut off.
Pre-flight checklist complete.
Alright, so that takes care of our pre-flight checklist. We can get this out of the way. We have our airways clearance already. At the 9-minute mark, she's going to start closing doors. And we're going to take care of the departure briefing. So I'm going to do the departure briefing with her right now. And this is great how this works. There's two ways to do this. You can play the departure briefing that is provided in here. So you can set this up the way you want it and then play it. Or you can just do your own departure briefing. And when you do that, you just ask her if she's ready. She'll say, yeah. You say whatever you're going to say. You can say, you know, I don't like you and I wish you weren't here. And then when you're done, you say any questions, and that ends the departure brief. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a departure brief that really is for you guys, because she doesn't actually care what you say. It's just words that trigger what's next. Everybody tracking on that so far? Sweet. Let's take a look here. Are you ready for the departure brief?
I'm ready.
Alrighty, we're going to be departing on runway 17 right today. ATIS is going to be on 134.025 with Denver clearance on 118.75. Ground control for us is going to be on 121.85, and the tower for us is going to be on 133.3. We are down here at the South Cargo Ramp. We're going to take Sierra Charlie all the way over to Mike Taxiway, bang a left, and take that all the way down to Mike 10 to hold short and prepare for lineup on 17 right. Now, looking at our departure briefing today, we're going to be taking the DDIRTH 1 RNAV departure. Okay, and we'll zoom in a little bit here, and you can see for our initial climb, we're going to climb on heading 173 to 5,934 feet, then remaining on that heading, or a different one if assigned by ATC, so basically it's vectors, and expect vectors to cross Yami, way out here, at or above 17,000. So 17,000 is going to be our first altitude that we want to put in there. Taking a look at the visual here, runway 17 right is this guy, so it's vectors here, at least to 5934, and then they're going to vector us around, so we don't have, you can actually, this is one of the things I like about Navigraph charts. You can click this here and it's going to overlay it on the map on our flight chart, and I can change which chart it overlays it on as well. That's the low end route. I can put it on a world map, whatever I want. Okay, the point is on here when we zoom in, it just, because this is vectors, it just shows us going straight out. Right now, just a little quickie for you guys, and then I'll wrap up this departure briefing because we've really got the gist of it here. If I click on this guy here, is it this one or is it this one? No, it's this one. If I click change, I don't actually want to change it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to overlay them all. See, I would click on that to overlay them, but instead show visual. There's all the departures. So if you're trying to figure out, let's say you got to switch, like I had to switch when I did this before to a different runway and it's a different departure. You can go on here and you can say, okay, which one do I need to take? Because this is where I'm trying to go up here, right? And then when you click on these, you see it highlights what departure that is. All right, so that's just another feature, and you would add to route. I'm not going to add it to route because we're good with what we got there. But it's just one of those really great features that when you integrate the or when you're using Navigraph. Now, if you use their desktop version or whatever, then you know, all of that's available to you. But I like doing it through this Sim Toolkit Pro because it's integrated right in here. Okay, I talked long enough about that. That takes care of our taxi and departure briefing. Any questions? Any questions? Any questions?
No questions.
Took her long enough. You got to say it just right, like it's voice recognition, and I probably need to do some more time training the voice recognition. Okay, so I'm going to break away here for a minute, and we're going to get all these doors closed, all that good stuff. It's going to take a few minutes, but I'm going to let FS2 crew do its thing, and you guys will get bored just sitting here, so we'll be back shortly. Alrighty, folks, I hopped back in on this view because I meant to be on before she asked, but the first officer asked if I wanted her to start the APU, and I told her, yeah, go for it. And so she's firing up the APU right now, and she'll switch us off of ground power. So once that's up and running, what I can do is I can go in here, gonna cough in your face here, excuse me. I can go in here to FS Actions Ground Connections, and then I can release all of those once that APU is up and running. I want to wait till it's up and running before I do that though. Alright, and then once that is done, what else we got here? That was the 5-minute mark. I finished closing the cargo doors just because it was taking too long. And the next thing that we'll do once that APU is up and running is we'll go through our before start procedure. But this is one of the things I really like that I don't recall having with the NGX version of FS2 Crew. I can talk to the ground crew first to pressure hydraulics. Now, it may have been there and I just don't remember, but I think that's really cool. So once that APU is up and running here, we will pressurize the hydraulics. Now when I tried this, I did an earlier video and I did the pressurizing of the hydraulics. I thought that they weren't working right because I couldn't get my trim to change. Well, it was just this button's worn out on my yoke here. My whole yoke's worn out. I have another one and I hooked it up today. But sadly, I don't really like that yoke. Just the way I tried flying with it, and I just have a hard time. It's got like a stop detent in the middle, which seems like it would be good, but every time you try to change directions, when it's very awkward feeling and hard to fly with. So I'm going to need to get a new yoke, on top of needing to get a new PC, on top of needing to get a new throttle quadrant. I need to do everything, don't I? Okay, looks like the APU is up and running here. She already switched us over to the APU gen. Alright, so we can come back down here, and now we can release the ground power, and we can release the air conditioning unit. The wheel chocks will remain set for the moment, and what I want to do is I'm going to contact the ground crew here. And you do that, you can click this button. Now check this out. Cockpit to ground.
Go ahead.
Can we pressurize the hydraulics?
Roger. You're clear to pressurize the hydraulics.
Thank you. Alright, now they're not going to pressurize yet, but they will here in a minute. So I'm just double checking my checklist. I'm not missing anything here as far as I can tell. I disconnected everything. Yeah, we're ready to go here. So let's press on, shall we? Before start procedure.
Are we clear to pressurize?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so our before start procedure is to verify the doors are closed, which we're on that page and we can see that they are. We have clearance from the ground crew to pressurize hydraulics. We do need to set the trim for takeoff. So if I put this on flight controls and the trim, see, she just changed it. She does that every time. What does trim need to be? Trim needs to be, gotta hit that one. And I'll put it back on this page for her. Trim at 7.2. But see, she's got that page up so she can see everything coming on, right? We'll go to flight controls real quick and go to 7.2. Oh, that's 3. And then we'll put that back on hydraulics for her. I actually have a view where I can see those more clearly. Well, she changed it anyway, so we're good to go. Alright, so that's our before start procedure now. I heard a ding from
I'm ready for the checklist.
GSX. And I don't know, I mean, all our doors are closed. It's just prepare for push and departure is the only thing we need to do with them. So she's ready for the before start checklist, which we're going to do before we push back. Alright, and then we'll do our pushback. So let me take care of that real quick. Before start checklist, please.
Before start checklist. Supernumerary signs. Set. MCP.
V2 171, heading 173, altitude 17,000.
Takeoff speeds.
V1 147, VR 155, V2 166. Set and checked.
CDU pre-flight.
Completed.
Completed. Trim.
7.20 and 0. I said that wrong. 7.2 units, 0 and 0. Set and checked.
Taxi and takeoff briefing.
Completed.
Beacon. Both. Before start checklist complete.
Okay, so you can see I got stuck in a couple places. She didn't understand me or I said it wrong, so I just say set and checked and it moves right along, which is fantastic. Alright. So that's going to bring us up to our pushback and engine start, starting with start sequence is 4, 3, 2, 1.
Check.
Alright, and then we'll go to GSX here. and prepare for pushback and departure. Now hopefully this works right. Yesterday it didn't work right, but I've created an edited position, I did a quick edit for a pushback, so hopefully that works. Yesterday it just like froze up on me, I guess. Oh no, I know what happened yesterday. I know what it is. Watch this. So park and brake is set. You have to remove the wheel chocks.
We're ready for pushback.
If you don't, oh, they're removed. Okay, fantastic. So yesterday I hadn't done that because every time the wheel chocks got removed, they were saying the park and brake was off even though it was on. So it was just a little glitch. Happens sometimes, right?
Locking gear.
All right. So once we get ready to push back, we'll just tell her to start the engine. She'll do the engine start switch up here, and we will do the fuel control levers. Pretty simple, right? Coughing in your face there again. You guys missed that, didn't you? Somebody's like, why would I miss that? Alright, just waiting on GSX at this point. Come on, guys. They are slow. Use autosaved quick edit pushback. That's what I'm selecting.
Departure check completed. Bypass pin inserted. Release parking brakes.
Dink.
Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at will.
Start engine 4.
Starting 4.
Alright, so she'll get that up and running while we're pushing back here. It looks like everything's working the way it's supposed to, so that's good. You can see the engines page. The N2 is coming up. We'll go ahead and put fuel in. And the way the checklist is set up, and I was reading through the manual, it's an auto start. Even though there's no auto start knob up top here, it's still an auto start. So you can just throw the fuel in right away. If I wanted to, I could just flip the fuel on for all 4 and just tell her to start them one at a time. You can also have her start more than one engine at a time. Keep in mind I'm on what do you call it, SOP1 or whatever. Yeah, SOP1, which has been the same first officer each time. SOP2 I haven't looked at. I don't know what the differences are. I do know that it's a different first officer though. Alright, let's go ahead and do the next one. Start engine 3.
Starting 3.
So I can start 2 at a time, so I'm not waiting until that engine completely stabilizes before I start the next one. Let's go ahead and bring the fuel in. Now, if there's a certain N2 I should be waiting for that I'm not aware of, somebody let me know, but I did read through the manual on this, and I wasn't finding it. So, yeah, you guys let me know. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I hope the wind hasn't changed here. Let me grab the METAR. No, let me do this. I'm gonna refresh my active sky. Yeah, they changed the runways. The wind shifted on me. Not by much. It's variable at 3 knots is what it is. So I think we're gonna stick with the runway that we have because we're less than 5 knots wind. Now somebody's probably chomping at the bit. Hold on a second. Start engine 2.
Starting 2.
Somebody's probably chomping at the bit right now saying, no, you can't do that. Well, I can. It's flight sim. But changing runways, that's no, you know, for a video for us. Well, you know what? I'm going to change runways. We'll change runways. But I'm not going to do it quite yet. Let's finish this pushback first. Alright. And then I'll take it, you know, I'll show that on the video in case you guys have never seen that before. I'm sure you guys, most of you know, but I'll show it on the video here real quick, and we'll take care of that before we taxi out. So, and we can redo the briefing. Start engine 1.
Starting 1.
Now, the briefing will be for you guys. She won't care. So let's just let it finish we got to finish the pushback first though, because otherwise I'm going to be trying to bounce back and forth between windows, and that's going to be a pain in the butt. I'm going to go over here. Let me look at my overview of departures here. So runway 35. We might be able to still take this departure. D-Dearth. For runway 35. Which one? Actually, yeah, 35 is actually like right here, so So if we did runway 35 left,
Set parking brakes.
that's a nice thing about having an extra screen.
For good engine start.
I think we can stick with the same departure, to be honest with you. So let me do that. Let's go runway 35 left. And then our departure will be DDIRTH 1. I just changed it to direct to DDIRTH, I guess. I'll show you guys this in a sec. Let's finish what we got going on over here, okay? We do need to confirm a good engine start, so we'll confirm that. And then I'm not gonna, well, I can do the before taxi procedure. Before taxi procedure.
Roger.
So she'll take care of PACs, APU, all of that stuff, and then once that's done, we'll change the flaps. I'm just trying to, where are you at here?
Unlocking gear.
35 left to DDIRTH.
Tow truck disconnected. Bypass pin removed.
Yeah. So that's what we're gonna do. Maybe. No, it changed to yellow 3 to natty. So we'll do that. That's fine. So let me pull up that chart real quick while she's finishing up here. Yellow 3. We'll get rid of DDIRTH here. And then overlay that on here. And I'll show it to you guys real quick while that finishes up. Close that out. Alrighty, so looking at our airport chart here, 35 left is right here, so we won't have to taxi near as far, so that's nice. Now looking at our departure here, it's not all that different than what we were flying before. So we're going to take off on 35 left, and then we'll go out here to Yami, LAR, and then to Natty. And there's no specific narrative on this one, so it's pretty much direct to each one. So we'll be making our turn relatively quick. We do have takeoff minimums. We'll have no problem meeting those, and our top altitude is 10,000, so I will need to change that. And that's pretty much it for this departure. So not too big a deal to change it, but that was just change it there. Where's this guy going? Let's change this to 10,000. And then I'm going to change the departure in the FMC here real quick. They're still getting out of the way, so it's not that big of a deal. Alright, so we'll go departure arrival, Denver departures, and it's going to be yellow 3 out to Natty off of runway 35 left. That's 34. There we go, 35 left. Takeoff speeds are deleted, that's okay. Clear that off, and then let's go to initial reference. So we're at 148, 156, 166. They're the same as they were before, or at least V2 is, right? Yep, V2 is. So we're good on that. And then what I keep forgetting to do is our actual, we've got checklist down here. So if I click on checklist, I'll hop down here so you can see it. I'm not worried about that. We did our pre-flight. We'll click on that. Flight instruments were good. Fuel control switches, we're going to have to override that because that's an auto one, right? So we'll override. I overrode the whole checklist. That's set. We're good. This is all before start. Okay. And then our before taxi, she's taking care of that. I haven't checked flight controls yet though, so let's do that real quick. Where you at? Flight controls. So full left, and you got to do this before you do the before taxi checklist. Full right, and it looks like it doesn't quite go full, doesn't it? When I do that, I don't know. Maybe it does, or maybe it doesn't. Maybe that's just my thing. I hate how my brakes come off when I touch my rudders. Full right and neutral. I'll have to work on that. I've been trying to get it squared away properly, and it's just not coming together for me. Jump back down here. So flight control check is complete. Ground equipment is clear. And then our next checklist will be our before takeoff checklist. So we can hop back up here. I'm going to break away for just a second because I want to make sure I don't miss anything. All right, so we'll see. You can see they're lining up for 35 left too. So we definitely picked the right one. See you in a second. Alrighty, let's push on here. Flaps 20.
Flaps 20.
I forgot to do that a minute ago because I was so busy talking about everything else and getting the departure change put in. But we've got it in now, so we're good on that. We can zoom this out real quick and just take a look at our departure, and you can see it's well, that doesn't look right. Gosh. It's got this like weird immediate turn back here for, so you see that? You guys see what I'm talking about? What is that nonsense? That doesn't even make sense. Is there something on our legs page? Let's see here. Let's go to our legs page and let's put this on plan mode real quick and zoom it out a little. Yeah, that's weird. So, oh, because it's got Denver on there. So let's just get rid of Denver. Put Yami right there. Okay, and then when we step forward, we can see that, oh, it's not going to let us do that until we execute it. Okay, not on intercept heading.
Flaps 20,
Yeah,
green.
no kidding. Okay, so the flaps are set. From natty, it's out to boy, right? So we step out, and then if we zoom it out, it should be a direct shot. So we're good to go there. I forgot to do this. This is the one downside to me running FS2 Crew right now is I keep forgetting stuff. Okay, and that takes us all the way out there. So put this back on the initial reference page. Takeoff page. Okay, we're good there. We're good there. It told us that that we weren't on intercept course because we have LNAV and VNAV armed right now, but we will be on an intercept course when we take off. So flaps are set. Zoom that down to where I want it there. Before takeoff checklist, please. Before takeoff checklist, please. Oh, I'm on the wrong one, that's why. Before taxi checklist, please. Okay. So it's messing up because it's before taxi, not before takeoff, but I kept saying the wrong one. Let's try this one more time here. Before taxi checklist, please.
Before taxi checklist. Anti-ice. Auto. Recall. Checked. Auto brake. RTO. Flight controls.
Checked.
Ground equipment.
Clear.
Clear. Before taxi checklist complete.
Alright, so that takes care of that. Now we're about ready to taxi out here, and when I want to taxi out, she's going to turn on the landing light for me. Track IR is coming on, a little jump here. There we go. So what I'm going to do is I'll just say clear left, and then she'll turn on the landing or the taxi light. Watch this. Clear left.
Clear right.
Bam, taxi light comes on. Bring in some throttle. And she'll, when we pull on the runway, she'll take care of landing lights, everything. It's fantastic. I love it. It's a good time. Alright. Oh, I should take the brakes off if I want to taxi, shouldn't I? Okay. So, we're going to taxi on up here and get ready to get this thing going. Because it seems like, to me, it seems like it's taken a little longer. Sorry, I have to look at my throttles here. Like it's taken a little longer while I'm doing this. Probably just because I'm so used to doing certain things, and instead I'm trying to explain things to you that are different than what I normally do. Does that make sense to everybody? We don't have a very long taxi on this one, but let's go ahead and look at some of these cinematic views. What a beautiful aircraft, huh? Alright, let's see here. Let's turn our traffic on real quick, and let's just make sure there's nobody coming in here. Looks like they're landing on the 3-4 Come on, brain function. 3.4 or 3.5, right? And we chose 3.4 left, didn't we? Now all of a sudden I can't remember. That's no good. Yes, we did. Okay, just double checking. Takeoff page. There we go. Okay, let's see here. Where are we at? Oh, that one. Before takeoff checklist, please.
Before takeoff checklist. Flaps.
Flaps 20.
Flaps 20. Before takeoff checklist complete.
Confirm cleared to enter runway 35 left.
Affirm cleared to enter.
Okay, track IR coming on. Here we go. Let's get her out there. And
check.
Before takeoff procedure.
Check.
So you can see she turned all the landing lights on, all that good stuff.
Approaching.
I'm ready to go.
They're going a little too fast there. A little too fast. I'm busy trying to do 3 things at once. Alright, let's get her lined up here. We're nice and heavy. Should be fun. 250,000 pounds of cargo. We could be heavier, quite a bit heavier as a matter of fact. We're well below our max takeoff weight.
3.5 left.
Finish getting her lined up. You can hear the RAS speaking to us there. So the runway advisory and alert system. Love it. Fantastic. It does come with FS2 Crew, I believe. But I've had it for a while because I've had FS2 Crew for a while, so I honestly don't remember. Okay, so we've taken care of that. We're ready for takeoff, and so that's what we're going to do. We're going to roll right into this because I'm done messing around here. Takeoff. Oh, I got to unmute it first. Takeoff.
Check.
Thrust ref.
Check.
Lumbering beast.
Knots thrust
Check.
set.
Check.
V1. Rotate. Positive rate.
Gear up.
Gear up.
See the bug splatter on the window, guys? I love it. Climb thrust.
Climb thrust set.
Flaps 10.
Flaps 10. Flaps 10 green.
Check. Flaps 5.
Flaps 5. Flaps 5 green.
Check. Flaps 1.
Flaps 1.
Flaps up. She won't do it
Flaps
until
up.
he... Oh, she did. Nice. Now once we go to flaps up, we can turn on autopilot. We cannot do it before we got flaps up. And we're flying above 250, I know. We can do that when we're this heavy, guys.
Flaps
Oops.
up.
Wrong button.
Checked.
Whew. Okay, we need to change our heading here. That's my bad.
1 to go.
There we go. And LNAV is still armed, so that's good. Let me just get my other checklist here. After takeoff checklist, please.
After takeoff checklist. Landing gear. Up. Flaps. Up. After takeoff checklist complete.
Alright, and we can have her do autopilot commands. Track car coming off. We can have her do autopilot commands and stuff like that for us, but we're not going to be doing that today. But once we go above 10,000, she might even do it at 10,000, I'm not sure. Let's just give it a second and see here. Yeah, I don't think she'll do it till we cross above. So when we cross above 10,000, I'm going to change this all the way up to 340 here. Now on this aircraft, let's see if is it automatically climbing? No, it shouldn't. Let's go to 340. So on this one, you have to push the button. You have to push the knob. There we go. Now it'll start climbing. There it goes. And then watch the landing lights come off. Or did she already turn them off? She might have already turned them off. She did. She already turned them off. So I guess she just turned them off automatically right at 10,000 feet. So she takes care of that. And then transition altitude. She'll say that we've made transition altitude, and you'll just say set standard, and then that's pretty much it, guys. And you know what that means? That's right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for some of that obligatory elevator music. Alright folks, after all that excitement, getting everything figured out, I'm coming on here just a little early because we need to do our arrival brief and we're going to do our approach brief at the same time, because we're interacting with FS2 crew, and the approach brief is actually done before top of descent in FS2 crew. So we're going to go ahead and kick this off here. You have control?
I have control.
Alright, so she's got control right now. Let's hop down here. And let's see, we need to check landing performance. She'll enter the landing performance data for us. Here's what I want to do. Let's go to departures, arrivals, and we are going to be taking the E04 arrival, which is pretty straightforward. We're not going to runway 7. It's actually available for any runway. We're going to transition to JOH, and then here's the fun part. We're going to take the, you're going to love this approach, guys. I've never tried this, so we'll see how it goes. Oh, it's not letting me pick it. Erase that. Here's what I want to do then. Let's go. We're taking the RNAV 3.3 approach, and we'll do the YESCA 6 transition to JOH. I didn't really like that one, but let me just grab it over here real quick. So I just need to pull up that chart, and you guys are going to see those here in just a second. So it's the YESCA 6 transition to JOH, and then let me pin it. And then for the approach, it's asking us if we want Hopper, Wolak, or Zyron. I don't know. Well, Hopper. We're going to want Hopper. Or Hopper, maybe is what it's called. So, Hopper. Alright, there we go. Execute that. Glide slope on, that's fine. Okay. I think that looks good. Let's go to our legs page real quick. JOH, YESCA, then TED. And then, and you guys are gonna see all this once we, yeah, we're not actually going to TED, so we'll go to YESCA, and then from there, yeah, I mean, we're not even really gonna go to YESCA. We're gonna go to Hopper is what we're gonna do. So we'll go JOH to Hopper. I don't know why it's set up that way. Maybe it's a descent thing, but we don't want to go to TED because that's the Anchorage VOR. And Hopper is, you're going to see this when I brief it, but Hopper like looks like it's way back where YESCA is at. Or pretty close to it. Let's just go from Hopper straight to, or from YESCA straight to Hopper. Let's see how that looks on here real quick, just so that we aren't getting any real surprises, right? Pop that up for you, pop that up, move that out of the way. There we go. Okay, so JOH, woo, there's a lot going on down there, isn't there? Let me scroll that bad boy down a little bit. Well, not that far. There we go. That'll work. Okay, so YESCA, and then Hopper, that's what we want. And then look at this. I'm going to brief it here in a second. That is the approach, okay? Good time. So it looks good to me. I don't want to give it all away quite yet. There we go. So we've done that. What else? We're not running the brief yet. The minimums have been set to 460 feet on the barrel and 342 on the radio, but we're supposed to fly it on the barrel, so that's what we're going to do. What else? Verify or set transition level, retake control from the first officer. I have control.
You have control.
Alright, so now what we're going to do is kick off the briefs, actually. Yep, we're going to kick off the briefs, and where are we from top of descent here? Need the progress rate. Yeah, it's just about right on time, actually. Okay, looking good. Are you ready for the approach brief?
Go ahead.
Okay, let's do this. Alright, as I said, guys, it's going to be the YESCA 6 arrival. I was going to do the other one, but it wouldn't let me put in the FMC there. So ATIS is on 135.5, airport elevation 151 feet. It says altitude set inches. That's for your altimeter, not altitude. Altimeter set inches, which we've already done. Transition level, flight level 180. We're coming in, starting out here at JOH, and then to YESCA, and then from YESCA we're going to transition right on to our approach. So let's take a look at that, because that's going to be the really fun one here. Here it is. Again, ATIS on 135.5, anchorage approach on 118.6, tower on 118.3, and ground on 121.9. This is an RNAV approach with a final approach course of 329 degrees. Minimum altitude at Foxon is 1,200 feet AGL. Well, let's see here. On a missed approach, we're going to climb to 4,000 on the RNAV missed approach route to BGQ, VOR, and hold, and that's this route right here. So basically out here to MERS, bang a right, out here to the Big Lake, VOR. You can see at Herky we need to be at 2,200, at Foxon 1,200, and then down from there. And so look at this. Here's the goodies of it. We're going to come in here at Hopper, and then to Tavu, and then Solnay, and then we're starting this turn, and this is a descending turn. You see we're at 4,400 here, 55, 44, 3,000, 22, 22, and then we come around here to Herky. We're still at 22, then down to Foxon 1,200 feet. So now we're going to have to be moving pretty slow too, because that's a pretty tight turn as far as I can tell. And for a 747, yeah, we're going to see how that works out. There's a lot of terrain there, so we're going to need to keep that in mind. In fact, if we overlay this on, let's go to our world map, and then you can change, let's put it at 50% so we can see through it just a little bit here. So you can see as we come in here, we've got all this terrain on the right hand side, and we need to keep that in mind. Luckily there's not a lot of terrain out here, but there's definitely some on this side over here, and it does drop down in this area. So that's just something to keep in mind when we're making this turn. If we're not going to be able to make this tight turn, we want to miss out here and cut back this way. We don't want to miss on this side here, because then we're worried about this terrain. It makes sense to everybody? I think it does. So pretty straightforward as far as all that goes. Let's go back to this, and let's see what else. Anything else? It's a straight, well, we're not landing straight in, but that's pretty much the gist of it. So some good crazy stuff. I'm actually really looking forward to this approach. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and hopefully I won't mess it up too bad. My landings in the 747 have been utterly atrocious lately. So, but it is what it is, right? Okay, pressing on then. Any questions?
No questions.
Descent procedure.
Stand by.
Okay, so she's going to hit the recall and do a few other things, and for us, we've got nothing else to do. Everything we did already when we gave control to her, we're done. All right, so once she's done, that'll be that. She better set that auto brake. I'll tell you what, she is going to choose the she's going to get the landing VREF for us. See, she just grabbed that right there. So if we go to the initial reference, so there we go, flaps 3156. So that's one of the things she does on her descent procedure. I really like that. I think it's pretty great the way this thing works out. We still got 113 miles till top of descent, so I'm not going to make you guys sit here and stare into the blue nether out there. When we actually get to our descent checklist, then I will come back on, and then away we go. Alrighty then. Descent checklist, please.
Descent checklist. Recall. Checked. Auto brake.
Level 3.
Landing data.
VREF. 156. Minimums 4, 6, 3 feet.
VREF 156. Minimums 0 feet. Approach briefing.
Completed.
Descent checklist complete.
What is fuel quantity low? Reset MCP altitude. I already know that. Down to 2200. Should start the descent on its own. Let's see. I don't remember if you gotta press the button to start the descent or not. Is it 22? Yeah, 22. Okay, let's see. We're almost on the top of the descent here. Fuel quantity low where? Let's have a looky-see, shall we? Fuel. Well, yeah, that makes sense, but I don't like the way that warning comes up like you're running low on fuel. We've got plenty of fuel. Not cool, guys. Not cool. Okay, let's put this on the checklist. And you can see I was doing all kinds of checklists on here. We need the normal menu though. And we need to go to descent. There we go. Good, 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 good. Back over to normal. And that'll be approach. It wants us to do that non-normal. I'm not doing it. Alright, top of descent is... how far? Now. Right as I clicked it up. Fantastic. Okay, initial reference page. And on down we go, folks. So, I'm going to go ahead and punch through the clouds here, and I'll see y'all back on here when we get close to this approach. Sound good? Of course it does. Approach checklist, please.
Altimeters.
2960 set.
2960 set. Approach checklist complete.
Flaps 1. Flaps 1.
Flaps 1.
Alrighty, folks, as you can see,
Flaps
we dropped
1
out of
green.
the... Thank you. As you can see, we dropped out of the clouds here, and we're coming in between the hills. Mountains on both sides. I think you can make them out over there. And we're coming up on Hopper. And once we get the Hopper, then it's that right turn, and then we're going to go into that lovely little turnaround for this approach. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be fun here. Let's see, how we looking here? We're looking good on our speed right now. We're just kind of settling into things here. We came on probably a little bit earlier than I needed to, but I figure, hey, what the heck. Let's look at some cinematics while we wait. Kind of crazy. We just dropped out of really thick, heavy clouds, and they're all magically gone. Where'd all the clouds go? There's tons of clouds. I was flying through thick cloud until right before I came on. Oh well. I'm just gonna let it fly here for a second. There's not much really to do, but it is a beautiful airplane to look at. So that what the heck? Since we're just cruising along here anyway, waiting for that next turn, we can just stare at this beautiful airplane. I think I mentioned it already, but I'm just a huge fan of the 747, and the 800 is just a thing of beauty. Absolutely love this airplane. There's that turn starting right there, and you can see it's continuing the descent. So we'll hop back on the flight deck here, and let's carry on. Flaps 5.
Flaps 5.
Just bringing in a little speed brake here to help slow it down. It switched to VNAV speed mode, and I really want it on VNAV path. So, check. There we go. Flaps 10.
Flaps 10. Flaps 10 green.
Check. And put that on 95 there. Alrighty folks, this is going to be fun. I thought about hand flying it, but I'm having problems with my yoke and I keep getting some choppiness, and I just said, you know what, we're not doing that. Just not going to do it on this one. This is a pretty tough approach anyway. Not that it's unflyable. I mean, this airplane usually is pretty easy to fly actually, but I've just been having some problems with this yoke. I got a new one on the way, so I'm looking forward to that. But the airplane itself just seems to be struggling a little. I don't know what it is. I think it's the funky altitudes for this approach or something. I don't know, but I don't know what she's on about. I have to remember to mute it when I'm talking to you guys, otherwise she thinks I'm talking to her. Alright, let's turn track IR on. Little jump here.
Outer marker height checked.
Okay. Alright, so we're looking good here. When we get about halfway through the turn, we'll drop. Actually, we'll do it as we come out of the turn. When we come out of this turn, we'll drop the landing gear, go to flaps 20, and that'll set us up nicely. So, not much else to say. Maybe some more cinematics. Kind of a long approach here. Kind of cool to watch it in the turn anyway, right? Wow, what a thing of beauty. See, the scenery's really struggling to load in down there. I don't know what the deal is. My computer's just angry with me right now. It's had enough. It's ready to be retired. The water and all that stuff would look 1,000 times better if I could get my Rex textures to work, but I can't even get them installed. Every time I try to run the installer, it flashes for a second, then disappears. I turn off my, I follow the instructions to the letter, turn off my antivirus, all that stuff, and it flashes for a split second and then it's gone every time. So, and I contacted them. They sent me a link to Google Drive to download it from there, thinking that the download was corrupt. I downloaded from there, same exact problem. No idea what's going on. See how that's struggling to load back there every time? Let's go back onto the flight deck here. There we go. Alright, we're looking good though. We're maintaining our altitudes. I've got it set to take us all the way down to 1,500 feet, which is where we need to be at Foxon, if you recall from our approach briefing. So we're looking good on our speed. And yeah, we're just kind of waiting it out here, right? I guess that's... you know, when I try to make videos, I try not to have too much empty space. But at the same time, you know, it's a pretty cool little approach, even though we're letting the autopilot fly it. When I get my new yoke, I will do more hand flying of stuff like this, I can tell you that. We can turn the terrain mode off now. I still don't know where all the clouds went. That's just weird. Looking good, though. Right as we start to roll out, we'll lock her in there. Let's see if we can see our airfield. It's so hard to tilt your head to one side and look the other way. Scenery's still struggling to load in over there, so we may get some choppiness as we come around the corner here. But it is what it is. Coming up on, what is that, Husky next? Herky. Herky's the name of it. Alright, let's get her done. Gear down, flaps 20.
Gear down. Flaps 20. Flaps 20, green.
Check. Flaps 25.
Flaps 25. Flaps 25, green.
I'm approaching a little faster just so you guys know. Flaps 30.
2,500.
Radio altimeter alive.
Check. Flaps 30.
Flaps 30. Flaps 30, green.
Check. Landing checklist, please.
Speed brake.
Armed.
Landing gear.
Down.
Flaps.
30, green.
Landing checklist complete.
Alright. Alright, let's let her roll out here. I don't need anything from her at the moment, so I'll mute it. Let me just get this checklist out of the way. Alright, let's see if we can land this. It's a little choppy. See, we're getting, you know, 20, mid to low 20 frames per second. Not really sure why, which is going to make the landing even tougher. And I've already been struggling with my landings lately. That's not going to be good. Alright, she's just settling onto the glide slope here. Let's turn VNav off. Or not. Let's we gotta turn autopilot off. There we go. Alright. Got just a little low there. Not too bad though. Landing.
Check.
Gonna get too high is what's gonna happen.
Checked.
Traffic. Traffic.
Set go around altitude.
1,000.
There we go. I like that. We're looking good. Get that stupid
Checked.
mouse out of the way.
Approaching. 3, 2.
Alright, looking good.
Approaching minimums. Minimums.
Continue.
Check.
Oh, we got a little high there.
Check.
Oh, come on, get down. There we go. We're alright.
200. 100.
60.
50. 40. 30.
50 above.
20. 10.
Oh, there we go.
Speed brakes up. Reverse green.
She's heavy, so we're gonna have to run this reverse for a long way here.
4,000 feet remaining.
See, we're running out of runway. Quick!
3,000 feet remaining. 2,000 feet remaining.
60 knots.
There we go. Woo! Okay to clean up. Or not. Oh, I muted it, that's why. Okay to clean up.
Happy to turn on the APU.
Go for it. Woo. Well, it was minus 121, so not too bad on the landing.
Check.
Turn that APU on. Start the APU, please.
Starting APU.
Alright. Sorry for the choppiness, guys. It's a little ridiculous. She's still not cleaning up, is she? Why? Now, I think I mentioned this already, but for some reason GSX sees this entire airport as a what do you call it? A seaport, sea base, or a seaport, like for seaplanes and stuff. I can't get my head to function straight here. Okay to clean up. All right, let's try. Clear of the runway. After landing actions? Okay, so she's just gonna ignore me. And I didn't have it muted, so I'll do it myself. Alright. Sorry for all the back and forth there. Let's see if we can find us a parking space. See, it doesn't even show anything on here, so you know, I think I forgot to update in the EFB. That's why. That doesn't have anything to do with GSX, but it does have to do with being able to see the taxiways on the ground here. But there's a spot for us right over there, and that's where we're going to park. So let's try this one more time. After landing procedure. After landing procedure. Okay, she's driving me nuts. That's fine. Okay, so we're going to park it over here. It doesn't look like a spot that you would probably run. Well, this looks like a cargo area to me. I don't know, guys. I'll tell you what I do know. We're going to park this big beast right there. And there's no point in even trying GSX because, like I said, GSX thinks it's a, they think it's a seaplane base. That's alright. Excuse me, I had a little hiccup there. Alrighty. Let's turn her in here. That looks like a proper spot, yeah? There we go. Yeah, look at that. That should be big enough for us. But again, GSX doesn't even recognize it, so it doesn't do us any good. Alright. Just roll her on up here. We gotta go up quite a ways. See how close I get it to being on the line, huh? I think it's right about there. That's my guess. Track IR coming off. There it is. Let's see where it's at. Oh, I can't tell from that view. Oh, I was way too short. Oh well. Back on the flight deck we go. Alright, let's get this wrapped up. I don't know why she's not responding. We gotta set the parking brake here. Shut down procedure, please.
Check.
Alright, while she's doing her thing, we gotta make sure chocks are in place. So let's do that real quick.
Clear to cut.
Wrong one there. Ground connection. So we're gonna have to, we're gonna do those after we cut the engines, right? Yeah, it's after. So, alright, so we'll cut the engines. And set the wheel chocks. Chocks holding.
Check.
Alright, so she's got a bunch of stuff she's gonna do. We'll give her just a second to take care of that. Shutting off all the fuel pumps, all that good stuff, right? Let me show you what I'm talking about real quick with GSX, since we're waiting on her anyway. If you go to GSX and you go to customize airport positions, see all of the, oh wait a minute, it looks like it changed now. Before it was showing them all as, I guess it just had to reload or something. I have no idea which position we're in. Oh well. Not to worry, guys, we will have GSX next time we fly in or out of this airfield then. Alrighty, let's see here. Make sure that parking brake's set real quick. It is. Shutdown checklist, please.
Shutdown checklist. Hydraulic panel. Set. Fuel pumps. Off. Flaps. Up. Parking brake.
Set.
Fuel control switches.
Cut off.
Weather radar.
Off.
Off. Shutdown checklist complete.
Secure procedure.
Okay.
She's got a couple of things she's got to do real quick. And we won't take the aircraft all the way back to cold and dark. We're not going to do that. So we're going to leave it on APU power for now. Secure checklist, please.
Secure checklist. IRSs. Off. Emergency exit lights. Off. PACs. Off. Secure checklist complete.
Thank you. And that's going to do it, ladies and gentlemen. I do apologize that we don't have GSX out here. If I knew which parking position we were in, I would have called them out and I would have made for a better closing. But either way, great flight. Love this bird. Remember, let me know if you guys are interested in a full flight tutorial on this aircraft. I'm definitely going to be doing a lot more flights with it, and I'm really looking forward to those. So you guys look for those as well. If you haven't already done so, go ahead and smash that Let's try that again. If you haven't already done so, go ahead and smash that subscribe button down there, and let's see if we can get over 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Also, give the video a thumbs up if you like it. The more thumbs up I get, the more I'm going to be doing certain videos. Now, all of that being said, this is the life of a virtual cargo pilot. which means we're going to do these anyway, so I really hope you like them because I'm going to keep cranking them out. But that's it for this one, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. You guys are fantastic. As always, keep the blue side up unless otherwise instructed by ATC. Y'all have a fantastic day.